fucking like scary fucking haunted house shit.
What's up everybody? Welcome back to the Film Archives. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Smile 2, the chilling follow-up to the 2022 hit, Smile. So if you're a fan of horror films, especially ones that really mess with your head, grab a seat and let's get into it. Smile 2 picks up 6 days directly after the events of the first movie. So 6 days after Rose Cotter's death, who lit herself on fire in the first movie. Her now cursed ex-boyfriend / police officer Joel from the first movie attempts to pass on and escape the Smile entity by killing one criminal right in front of his brother while they drink their pumpkin fraps, which, bro, like, let them just drink their pumpkin fraps in peace. It's not cool. It's not cool.
You remember my pumpkin frap, huh?
We see that Joel, the police officer, is fully tripping and having hardcore hallucinations and visions of Rose Cotter burning to death, which is a wonderful way to tie the movies together. If you know, you know. But if you don't know, I linked my video on the first movie in the description below. So if you haven't seen it, you should definitely go back and check it out. Joel brutally murders the criminal in front of his brother, and a shootout ensues. And during the shootout, he accidentally murders the witness as well. He kind of done goofed, you know, he done goofed. However, there's a random drug dealer who was in the house picking up product by the name of Louis Frigoli. And of course, him witnessing the brutal murder and now being traumatized inherits the Smile curse. However, more of the criminals and the drug dealers arrive at the house and they attempt to stop Joel and kill him in revenge for killing the other two criminals. And he attempts to leave the house.
What the f*** is that?
And when Joel tries to flee, he is actually run over and killed by a passing by truck. He will be sorely missed. And I'm not gonna lie, the beginning of this movie and just this entire scene is insanely gory and just brutal nar stuff, guys. Brutal nar stuff. I probably can't even show much of it because it's pretty rated R stuff, bro. The intro to this movie is really good. It's super dark, and it has just enough influence from the first movie to kind of tie them together, while not being so connected that you have to watch the first one to even make sense of the movie. So I thought it was well done. We are then introduced to our main character, which is one of the things that I think really stands out about the Smile 2 movie is, you know, some of the new faces that we get to meet. This time we have the pop star singer sensation, Sky Riley, who is played by Naomi Scott. We learn that the pop star, Sky Riley, is preparing for her comeback tour, which is following a year after her very public struggle with drug abuse that ultimately culminated in a car crash that killed her boyfriend, who was an actor by the name of Paul Hudson. We learn all this information over the Drew Barrymore show, which is neat because Drew Barrymore makes, you know, a fun little appearance as herself, which added a bit of realism to the movie. It was pretty nice, which is a good thing. We like this. Sky Riley is under constant supervision and scrutiny by her assistant by the name of Joshua and her mother / manager, whose name is Elizabeth. Sky is working on a music video and rehearsing her dance routine, and she injures her back, which was already previously injured from her car crash. A bit later, she decides to sneak out to go buy some Vicodin, some painkillers, from, you guessed it, Louis Frigoli, the innocent bystander, well, not so innocent bystander, but the bystander drug dealer from earlier and the intro to this movie. So Sky texts him and makes her way over to his apartment where she attempts to buy Vicodin. And we learn that Louis Frigoli is now fully unhinged.
What the f***, Louis?
What do you want from me?
He immediately grabs Sky and holds her hostage by holding a samurai sword to her throat, mentioning that he doesn't even remember texting her at all, and that he's dealing with some real haunted house, spooky type shit. While at his apartment, Sky witnesses Louis screaming and having a full-blown panic attack right before he collapses in his apartment and has almost like a little mini seizure. And dog, let's just be honest, this dude, Louis Frigoli, his acting performance throughout this movie deserves 5 bags of popcorn. It's just so good. It's so good. He freaks out very similar to the patient from the first movie in a full-blown panic attack, from seeing the smile monster that only he can see. There's also much more emotional depth in this sequel, and the characters aren't just dealing with, the supernatural threat of the smile demon slash entity, but also with their own personal demons and addiction issues and, their struggles. And I feel like it makes it feel a lot more real. And I feel like personally, it made it that much more terrifying, playing into the psychological horror aspect of this movie extremely well. So we see Lewis pass out from seeing the smile entity. He gets up and you already know, he has the most iconic freaking smile on, dude. He then just proceeds to brutally smash his face in with a weight plate from like a bench press set. I've seen some brutal stuff in movies, but this one was a bit hard to watch, even for me. But of course I watched it. It's like a car crash. It's horrifying, yes, but I just can't look away. Now in a full-blown panic and afraid of being found in a room full of drugs and with a dead body, Sky Riley just decides to leave without alerting the police or anyone. Unbeknownst to her, having now been cursed, Sky Riley begins having some insane hallucinations of people smiling at her, and this in turn causes her mental health to just rapidly deteriorate. If I had $1 for every time I hallucinated someone smiling at me, I'd be a frickin' billionaire. I'd be frickin' Elon Musk right now, like, shoot. Sky then receives an anonymous text from an unknown number claiming to know that she was in Louis Fragoli's apartment and that she is in immediate danger. In desperate need of support and someone to talk to, Sky Riley decides to reach out and attempt to reconcile with her, estranged best friend, bestie, Gemma. And I want to know, does Voss sponsor this movie? Because there are an insane amount of Voss waters throughout this movie. Like, let's throw up a quick montage.
The day is approaching to give it your best, and you've got to reach your prime. That's when you need to put yourself to the test and show us a passage of time. We're gonna need a montage.
Sky then makes up with her bestie Gemma and lets her know that she saw Louis Fragoli die right in front of her. And ew, oh my god. That's when Gemma learns about Louis smashing his face in with the weight plate. It's like,
Ew, oh my god, what?
disgusting. Missed you, batch. So Gemma and Sky have a little sleepover and they attempt to reconcile their relationship. However, their sleepover is soon ruined by Gemma smiling at her while they sleep. And I'm not gonna lie, this jump scare got me so bad. Like, it was bad. A bit later, while Sky is speaking at a fundraiser that is being held and hosted by her music producer, whose name is Darius, she hallucinates that the teleprompter starts stalling out and basically just goes on, like an improv tirade, an entire rant about how success has not improved her life at all. Which is funny because this fundraiser is actually being held for underprivileged youth, so she's just kind of up on her high horse throughout the whole thing. It's just not a good look. Sky then sees her dead ex-boyfriend, Paul Hudson, sitting in the audience. And of course, she goes into a full-blown panic. We gotta cue the best smile, maybe the second best smile, in the entire movie, y'all. Like, just take a look at that. You already know, bro. So Paul approaches from the audience, and this sends Sky into a full-blown panic because she knows that he's already dead. And this ultimately ends up with her accidentally, throwing like a very elderly guest through a table. And when it comes to the movie's overall theme, I would say Smile 2 takes a way deeper dive into trauma and guilt and how our past can haunt us in pretty unexpected ways, especially if you're possessed by the smile demon. Like, shoot, I don't even want to know, bro. That sounds horrible. The movie does a fantastic job of showing how the characters' psychological states are intertwined with the horrors that they've experienced throughout their life, which makes the film not just scary, but downright unsettling. And the scares themselves, oh man, brother, the smile curse is back in full force, brother. But this time, it's more violent, more grotesque, and overall more gnarly. I'll be honest, there were a couple of moments where I was holding my breath, and not just from the jump scares, but just from the slow creeping dread that just builds throughout the entire film. Like, it's not good. Sky finally responds to the mysterious person who has been texting her, asking who they are. They then reply to Sky saying that everything they are seeing is real and they send Sky a video that Louis Fergoli had posted 4 days before his death. It's a video of him playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the Rust map, if you know, you know, as well as a ghostly figure that is just staring at him, smiling. And again, we get just an incredible jump scare, and this one actually gave me goosebumps. No bull. Sky then agrees to meet the person texting her in a bar. This turns out to be a man by the name of Morris, who has actually been tracking the entity ever since it killed his brother, who was 8 hosts back. He further explains the cycle of the curse and that it passes to anyone who is a victim of witnessing a host's death. Morris surmises that the entity is parasitic in nature and has to feed on its host's trauma, but it is possible it could die without a host, thus ending the smile entity. He then makes the suggestion of stopping Sky's heart and resuscitating her in order to break the curse, and mentions that he's an ER nurse, so he's qualified to do this. Sky refuses, and she just leaves after she is recognized by some of the crowd in the bar. Sky then returns to her apartment, and we see her have a very lengthy mental breakdown. This is full-blown, like, it's on and popping at this point. Sky is cornered by the entity, which takes the form of all of her backup dancers inside her apartment, and it was honestly terrifying. But when I was editing this video, I just couldn't help but think, like, can you imagine a flash mob doing this? It would be so good. It would be so good. Real talk, this scene was insanely good though. Like, it's hard to explain how well done it is, and you should really just watch it for yourself. I promise you that it's worth it. Sky then tries to escape her apartment, but of course, she's violently thrown around and pinned down as a freaking huge, disgusting arm forces its way into her throat, which in turn causes her to black out. As Sky passes out, we are then shown a flashback that reveals that Sky Riley actually intentionally caused her boyfriend Paul's death by crashing the car during one of their drug-induced arguments, which is just full-blown psycho. They go off the cliff and just land directly into some trees, which is insanely scary. A bit later, Sky wakes up and she finds herself at a private wellness clinic where she argues with her mother/manager, Elizabeth, over the upcoming tour and her overall public image. And we get more Voss water. Another jump scare later, and suddenly, Sky's mom, Elizabeth, smiles. She smashes the nearby mirror and just completely nukes herself with a broken shard of glass. It's insane. Horrified, Sky attempts to leave, but suddenly has the realization that she's the one who actually stabbed her mother, Elizabeth. Sky then escapes the retreat, and we get some more Voss waters. Sky then just so happens to bump into her bestie Gemma outside of the wellness retreat, who helps her steal a car in order to go meet Morris on Staten Island. Bruh. Is Parker Finn the new M. Night master of plot twists? I think yes, because during the drive to go meet Morris on Staten Island, we see Sky get a call from the real Gemma, who reveals to Sky that she hasn't seen her all week. Sky then comes to the realization that the Gemma that she's been with all week is actually the entity, and this was so good. Like, this reveal was so good, and that's on God, fam. Like, it's so good. Suddenly waking up and realizing that she had been hallucinating Gemma all along, Sky manages to regain control of the car, where she is just driving the stolen car by herself, and she continues to drive to Staten Island in order to meet Morris. Sky has agreed to go through with the plan of stopping her heart and resuscitating her in order to stop the smile entity. Sky then meets Morris at an abandoned Pizza Hut.
Is this a Pizza Hut?
Rip to the hut. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, rip to the hut. But hey, at least Morris actually leased out the abandoned Pizza Hut, so we're saying that there's a chance. There's a chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Morris and Sky plan on using the walk-in freezer to extend the time before resuscitation from 2 minutes to 9, and also to prevent brain damage when they stop her heart. We aren't sure of what drug he's planning to give her to stop her heart because they never really explain that, but we're not questioning it because it's actually fine. It's actually fine, guys. Morris then temporarily leaves the freezer while they attempt to drop Sky's body temperature low enough in order for her to flatline for 8 minutes, leaving them with 1 minute to resuscitate her and bring her back. And yeah, this plan is overall just absolutely bananas, but I love it. We then get some more truly great acting from Naomi Scott.
I hurt everything and everyone I touch.
While Sky is laying inside the walk-in freezer, attempting to lower her body temperature, we see that the entity appears as her past self that is injured from the car wreck.
I like wearing your skin.
And after a brief struggle with the smile demon that likes wearing her skin, Sky manages to fight it off and proceeds to inject herself with the syringe that is meant to stop her heart. We also get one of the most visually disturbing scenes I've seen since maybe watching Terrifier. I mean, just look at me. Completely unfazed by Sky injecting herself in the neck, the entity actually laughs at Sky and tells her that she's not in control anymore and that none of this has been real. Bro, this shit is next level twisted. It turns out that Morris actually never even existed. It was all in her head the entire time. Like, how sick is that, bro? Like, master of plot twists, let's fucking go. I'm telling you guys, the smile demon / entity is super in right now. The smile entity then tells Sky to break a leg out there right before she wakes up and finds herself on stage for a performance at Herald Square Garden, which is obviously a made-up version of the Madison Square Garden. And we see what you did there, Parker Finn, but we love it. We love it. Sky then looks out into the crowd where she sees her assistant Joshua, her producer Darius, and her mom Elizabeth, who are all alive and doing well. Sky suddenly realizes that the entirety of the past few days have all just been an illusion created by the entity. And God, I love this movie so much. Like, it's so good, bruh. As Sky is on stage, the entity appears before her as herself. The entity version of Sky then tears its stomach open to reveal its true form, which is just a terrifying visage, a huge creature with no skin and multiple smiling mouths, all nestled within one another. Like, just take a peek. Sky screams, of course, as anyone would, and she falls into a trance, similar to the way Rose Cotter did. We then see the entity rip Sky's mouth apart, and it crawls inside her. From the crowd's perspective, however, it just looks like Sky has collapsed. A now possessed Sky Riley stands up, smiling. She then proceeds to just completely, fatally stab herself in her own eye with her microphone in front of hundreds of thousands of horrified spectators. We can only assume that the Smile entity has passed on to thousands of people now. Bruh, Smile 3? Yes, actually, because in September 2024, the writer and director Parker Finn actually confirmed plans to continue the franchise with a third film. And in December, it was reported that Smile 3 was in the works and is set to start filming in early 2025, so let's go. We then fade to black. The movie ends. So, is Smile 2 worth watching? Overall, Smile 2 is more than a worthy sequel. It brings back the scares, it digs deeper into the psychological horror territory, making it more than just your typical horror flick. Has some insanely good twists, amazing acting performances, and the overall themes come together to make a movie that's not just about jump scares, although there are quite a bit of good jump scares, but it creates a constant feeling of dread when you watch the movie, which I quite enjoyed. Is it as good as the first one? Maybe not quite as good, but it definitely stands out on its own as a horror film that will stick with you long after the credits roll. So if you're into psychological horror, this one's definitely worth a watch. But be prepared, you may never look at a Smile the same way again. Thank you for watching, guys. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new here. I upload new videos just like this every single week. And let me know in the comments, what did you think of Smile 2? Did it live up to the hype for you? Or did it leave you with more questions than answers? Much love to you all, and until next time, stay spooky, and remember, always keep an eye on that smile. Bye!